You don't bring questions to a conversation. Like if me and you, like if we were going to get coffee or we were out somewhere, like neither one of us would probably bring a list of questions.
Never.
That's just not realistic.
No, never, ever. So I'm like, I can't do this. My mind doesn't work that way. I have to ask questions when I feel the need to, or when there's something that really hits me that I can relate to. I'm like, well, girl, how did you do it this way? You know, but no more questions for me. Never. So you can find it. I think it's like the Let's Talk podcast with Kim K, Chris, and Kim K, Chris, and Cam. I do believe. Need to shorten that up a little bit, but yeah, that's what it's called.
But I'll put that in the description. Put a link in there.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
I've done 11. So one each week. There was a week that we skipped. So 12 weeks we've been doing this.
Cool. It's just over and over and over again. That's the key to it.
I know.
And podcasts are weekly too. And it's kind of the tough part about it is you'll make something, you'll be like, man, this is great.
Yeah.
And then, but your listeners, they'll listen to it.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, see you next week.
Yeah.
And it isn't like you wrote a book or you made some type of grand thing that lasts for a little bit. They're like, all right, we'll see you next week.
Yeah, for sure. Every time I get off or whenever I sign out, I never think that the podcast is really good enough. I always go into the mindset of, you know what, I could have done better.
Right.
And then I stopped looking at likes and numbers because I got so discouraged in week 4 or 5. And honestly, I really thought about quitting. And I'm like, you know what, I'm done because I felt like, you know, I had something to say, which everybody does, you know, and I'm just like, you know, the likes went down, all this other stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to say what I have to say, whether I mess over my words or not. I'm going to be finished with it. I'm never going to look at it again. I might edit or whatever, but I never watch the full thing. I'll skip. And then I'm like, I put it out there and I don't look at the numbers anymore. I'm just like, if they enjoy it, they enjoy it. If they don't, they don't. And I'll just come back next week and we'll see what we got going on. But I just stopped looking at it.
Yeah. It's definitely like a long haul deal.
It is.
I try not to focus on the numbers. I get sucked into it too sometimes. But it's like at the beginning, like, okay, so you're about to get into a really hard part, at least from my experience.
Yeah.
Because like when you start, everybody is like, this is the coolest thing ever. You're so cool for doing this.
Yeah.
And then after a while, you'll probably hit like a lull where it's like, oh, they've heard you.
Yeah.
And that's when you're like, oh, dang. But you start to doubt yourself.
Yeah.
You start looking at numbers. It's like, but so for me, it was like 2 or 3 months where I just felt like everything was low. And then even, you know, I'll have a success here and a low here. It's like sometimes something won't get hardly any views. You're like, dang, like I thought even when you feel like I'm establishing myself, it's like sometimes it could just, but it's just like every week I'm making an episode. Every week I'm making an episode. That's the only way to do this.
You're right. And you just really never know what someone likes or wants to hear or whatever the case may be. You really take a chance on whatever you bring into the table. But, you know, honestly, I try to bring something that is either a past experience or something that's near to or dear to my heart or whatever the case may be. But you just really never know what someone's going to gravitate to or they're like, psh, you know, I don't need all that. You know, psh, we're done with that. So I got to get my feelings off my shoulders and just kind of move around. And I just refuse to look at numbers. I just cannot.
Yeah,
I can't.
Healthy.
Yeah, for real.
Numbers,
to keep my sanity. Yes.
Yeah. I went viral a couple times. The comments are awful.
Really?
Every time I went viral, it's happened like 4 times now. Like millions of views. And it'll be 1,500, 1,600 comments. And a lot of them are just like, look at these idiots.
Yeah.
Like,
man, those are the thumb bullies. Dude, they're so strong with that thumb, but in my face, you would never say anything. You'll never know who they are.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, okay, thumb bullies. I don't have time for that.
Posting the reels, I see you're doing that. That is one of the keys to this. They'll blow up. Like you'll get one day, you'll post a reel, and it'll do the other ones. They may just do this, and one day that reel go take off, and you're like, oh wow, this is cool. And then it's like a whole new deal. That you have to deal with because then you're like, oh, lots of people saw this. So now you're not just getting judged by people you know. You're getting judged by strangers. Strangers aren't nice. Strangers really suck on keyboards.
They do.
I'll punch them if I could get to them, but I can't.
You'll never know who they are.
Yeah.
They don't care.
But it's cool. So like that last one that went off on Facebook, it never happened on Facebook before. It's normally like TikTok or like a YouTube short or something. But it was, I just got 5,000 new followers off of it.
Look out.
And it was like 1.5 million views. I was like, what the heck?
I know.
And it's something that every time something goes viral, it's something I'm like, I never would have dreamed that. Yeah,
really?
Especially you get in the habit of posting things. Like, I post. Like on Facebook, it says I'm posting 100 posts a month right now. Like,
really? So you post like 100 posts a month? Do you post them like every couple of minutes?
Well, multiple times a day.
Yeah.
7 or so times a day.
Okay. Ooh.
Whatever 30 times or 30 divided by 100. Ain't that the math? I don't know. I can't math in my head, especially with the camera on. But no, it's consistent throughout the day. Pretty much every day.
Really?
And I post on TikTok. I post on you. I have 2 separate channels. I have 2 shows, which is way too much. It's too much.
Really?
Too much.
How are you even managing 2 shows?
Not. The other one's suffering.
Really?
Well, do you know Derek Keener?
I've heard of Derek Keener. So Derek Keener is a relative to a young lady that I know, Ramona, and her mom, Melinda. So I know them because we went to church together, but I know him through them. So I don't really know him. Right. I know his name.
Yeah, he's on my other show. It's like a comedy show. We just make fun of stuff. Yeah. Like an hour every week.
Oh, wow.
You just make fun of things. We would look at the news, make fun of it.
Just whatever.
Oh, yeah. Then me and him normally, the show's called Addicted to Arguing.
I saw that.
Yeah, so we make fun of stuff and then we debate about something at the end. That's fun. Me and him typically, we get along good. It's not like heated, angry debates or nothing, but we have different views on stuff. So
I got you. That's the best place. I mean, honestly, you need someone that doesn't always agree with you. Someone that's a little bit off a little bit. You know what I mean? That makes a good show and honestly good conversation. So I don't need somebody agreeing with me all the time.
That is for sure.
Mm-hmm.
This show's been fun because like this one, because I just talk to someone different every time. It's like, I think so much different than when I started because I've been challenged by so many people. Because it's like I've been trying to just get everybody.
Yeah.
I've had tattoo artists, MMA fighters.
You have everybody.
People that work for the government, people that, it's just, you're just seeing different sides of everything.
Yeah, for sure. I've been watching and I'm like, hey, these people. I remember the episode with Sandy. I'm like, she gave me my first tattoo. My mom told me never to get a tattoo. And I was like, girl, can I get a tattoo? I was, yes. And
Sandy's so cool.
She is very cool.
She's very smart too.
Very smart. Very smart. But she gave me my very first tattoo back in 1995. Yes.
Yeah, she was the first person in town to have a shop.
Yeah, I remember her. She's been in the same spot, I think, for that. Since she's been here.
Yeah, she just sold it. She sold it to Hunter McCarver. But she's still over Modern Primitives.
Yeah, but yeah, she definitely did. First tattoo. You have many roles.
Oh, it's fun though. I'm living a fun life. I'm doing fun stuff.
And you work too?
Yeah, this is our septic business. We own a business.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, I can't. Woo, no. You post reels about 5, 6, 7 times a day. You have a full-time job and 2 podcasts.
And 2 kids and a wife.
Yeah, no. Absolutely not. No.
It really is overwhelming.
That's a lot.
But as long as I can kind of keep this pace up, I think, like, because I've done over 100 episodes this year. I
think you said that on,
Live Friday. Yeah, I've done 70 and 40. I might do 4 of them. I'll do this one today, interview, Addicted to Arguing tomorrow, and Thursday, another interview. So, I mean, that's a normal week.
For you.
Yeah.
Jesus. I'm here. I feel horrible now because I'm thinking 1 podcast a week is good enough.
You don't have to do it like this, though. If you put it, I think that I more than likely am doing too much, but I do have a strategy to it.
Yeah.
But I think if you put out a solid episode once a week, I really do think because most podcasts is a solid episode once a week. Then you have your like Joe Rogans and stuff, they're doing like 4 a week and that's different, but that isn't the norm.
Right.
But mine is just like, this is just like a crash course.
Basically. I got it.
I'm just like almost like a race to like 100 episodes, like as fast as I can get there, talk to as many people as possible. But I think as long as you post 1 solid episode every single week or close to it, your people will be waiting for you every week.
This is true. I totally agree. So your end goal, honestly, do you want to is this what you want to do full time?
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to talk to Navy SEALs. I want to talk to ex-CIA people. I want to talk to neuroscientists. And I want to do... There's several people I like to listen to, like Danny Jones, Julian Dory, Joe Rogan, people like that. I want to talk to archaeologists. I want to talk to like people with, you know what I'm saying? So this is like, I need to, not really master, but kind of sort of, I need to master this at this level. And so when the opportunity comes to talk to an astrophysicist, I don't look like a dumbass.
Yeah, for sure.
But I want to talk to people like that. I want to get like, you know what I'm saying?
I do.
Like, to the point where, like, maybe when a presidential candidate wants to come on a podcast. So
I know. I totally get that. Would be nice. Really cool. I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't know. Me personally, I just feel like I do this for my therapy.
Right.
And so I don't know. I do people on my podcast. I would love to have different people on the podcast, bring in different things to the podcast. But I do it for like therapy. Would I love for this to be a full-time gig one day? Maybe. But dude, I guess I have to be willing to put the work in like you do. I just, this is therapy to me. Because
it is good for that too, though.
For sure.
What other time do you get people sitting down together with no phones, nothing at all? When do you meet people for the first time and talk for an hour? This is insane. This is wild. Yeah.
You're right. You don't, though. I mean, honestly, very seldomly do you meet somebody and you guys just hit off a conversation with no phones, no anything, no interruptions or whatever the case may be for just an hour. Never. Hardly ever.
I met this guy named Matthew Cornelius. He does wood carving and stuff. He's got this super successful YouTube channel. He's got like 189,000 subscribers.
Really?
And we met for the first time at the podcast and we just talked for he talked for 3 hours.
Really?
Yeah, like technically a stranger. But
from here?
Yeah, he's from here. Yeah. He's got a real successful YouTube channel.
Really?
He's been on YouTube since 2000. What did he tell me? He said he started when he was about 19 and he's 37 now.
Oh yeah, he's been on that for a long time.
He's never not been on YouTube, like with a channel. So, I mean.
Yeah, that's a lot of work. But honestly, probably worth it.
YouTube is the long game. It is. This is the longest path.
Yeah.
But if you follow YouTube and you stay true to YouTube, she will bless you later.
She will bless you later. I'm telling you, there's a lady onto YouTube. I did a little vegan thing for about 6 months. And I was following this lady. Her name was Tabitha Brown on YouTube. And when I tell you that I was watching her during COVID, and she was talking about, she didn't really have that many followers. She was on YouTube, her whole history. She wanted to be an actress and all these things. And so during COVID, when everything shut down, we had nothing to do but to watch YouTube.
Yeah.
And she blew up during COVID. And this lady's out making movies. She's on a shot. She has her own TV show. I'm like, sis. She like...
Don't you wish you started during COVID?
My God,
wish
yes.
I would have started earlier. I love this. But and that would have been the time to do it.
It would have been. We're gonna hit another COVID spell.
You think so?
No,
don't say that, please.
We won't. I think COVID is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. It's just like flu. So I don't think we'll hit another one unless they come out with something totally different. But no. That would have been the perfect time. Yeah, you hear me?
I don't want that.
No, because I'm telling you, when they came out with that, it was like COVID. And then once we came out with COVID, they came out with, what was it? Was it monkeypox?
They were talking about that might be next. And then there was like some bird flu that was supposed to get loose. And
no, don't speak.
At the moment, I think there is no impending doom on us.
No, don't speak that evil to me. Don't you do it.
I do not want it. Yeah.
No, me either. It was hard enough dealing with COVID, working from home. That is one thing that I cannot do. I don't know how people do it. They work from home. I cannot.
Do you think it's you think it's being around people that like makes you like that better than being home? Is it the people?
I think so. I really do, because I'm a little bit of an introvert, but also not, if that makes sense.
Right. I think there's a lot of people that are both.
Yes. And so I love being around people. I love laughing. I love having a good time. But I also love being by myself and like trying to get my work done, being quiet and all those things. So I'm a little bit of both, but working from home doesn't do me well. I cannot do it. It's trying to study in a noisy place when someone needs quiet. quiet disturbs me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that definitely
I cannot do quiet. So I think it was because I was raised in a big family. There was 5 of us, 5 kids, my mom, my dad. It was always so noisy there. And so everybody was either fussing, fighting, or throwing stuff, or just talking crazy, because that's what big families do.
No.
And I think because I was raised that way, quietness, I cannot deal with.
It's a little freaky, huh?
It is freakish to me. I can't sleep in quiet.
You got the TV on?
All day.
I'm a TV sleeper too.
Me too. If I don't have a TV, I need a fan, but I need noise constantly in order to soothe me. And I really feel like it was because I was raised in a big family, and this is all that we did. You know, I'm in this room, my sister's in this room, and we're yelling back and forth to one another. And I think, honestly, with that, I'm so used to it. And even at my age of 47, I still cannot deal with quiet. I can't.
Do you think it's like, does it cause you to like really think deep? Or is it just like a nervous thing? Or
I think it makes me think.
Yeah.
And I don't like it because, not saying I don't like to think, but it makes me think too much.
Right.
My mind is running like 100 miles per hour. And so when there's quiet, then I have way too much to think about.
Right.
And when it's noisy, it's limited in my head.
Yeah.
And so I'm good with that, because once you start thinking about different things, I get into a place of, dang, you know what, here I am, this age, and this was my end goal, and I haven't even reached that yet. And then I start like getting down on myself, and I'm just like, why did you not finish this? Why did you do this? You could have done this, you could have done this. This could have happened, that could have happened. And so with noise, it quietens all of that down, and it's like, okay, girl, just take one thing at a time. You know, this is still your end goal. Even though you're old as dirt, you can still finish it because you can get this done. But I know this is why.
Yeah.
I don't like quiet, because I think entirely too much.
Yeah, I understand that. I think my mind just kind of, I am very similar, definitely. And that's why I like podcasts so much, because when I'm just because I work by myself a lot of the times, I'm by myself a lot of times, I can just put a podcast on. And it's like, okay, these people are talking. I can get engaged with their conversation.
For sure.
I can just chill. I think one of the reasons why I work so hard and do so many things is the exact same reason. I can't, like, if I get off work, I can't just be at the house just like chilling every day. There has to be some goal I'm chasing. There has to be, I honestly like it when I'm behind on videos.
Yeah.
Like I'll sit around and complain about it. Like, oh, I'm never catch up. And I need to
You're
do this and that. A little bit.
Yeah, me too.
But it's like, I know I need those tasks like looming over me so I can think about that.
Yeah.
Not that, like you're saying, it's not that I don't want to sit around and think, but in quieter times, my mind can just go.
It can.
Yeah.
It gets the best of you because you're like 1,000 miles per hour, 100 miles per hour, and you're just really thinking about too many things at one time. And honestly, if you think about too many things at one time, something is going to go lacking. And I'm just like, I have to just do one or two things. But that's me. I mean, it's just like I play with time. You know, it's crazy because I know that I have to be somewhere at a certain time. And I'm like, I'm counting down to the second of when I have to leave. And then all of a sudden something catches my eye and then I'm behind.
Are you typically late?
Typically. I'm horrible at it. Honestly, I'm like, oh, I'm going to leave at 7:30 to be here at 8 o'clock. And then I look around and it's 7:45.
You're like, oh, I got to go.
Yes. Yeah. And so then I'm rushing out of the house. But if I'm being honest, I like a challenge. Yeah. So I think my mind works very weirdly opposed to everybody else's because they could just leave the house and be okay.
I'm typically early.
You are.
I'm typically early. I'm like a 15-minute early.
Really?
But I think it's also my nerves too because I want to like be at there. I need to scope everything out first.
Yeah,
I might leave.
And come back?
Well, no, I'll never come back.
What?
It depends on what I scope.
Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah. But I'm typically late for sure. Yeah. Because when I drove by, I saw you like open the door. I was like, that has got to be where I'm supposed to be. But then I'm looking at the time. I'm just like, ooh, yes. It's like 7:53, 7:54, somewhere around in there. I'm like, yeah. So I'm typically late for sure. No lie. I play with time. I act like we are best friends and we are not. I'm always late.
I had a guy working for me once and I taught him how to do the studio and I needed somebody to help me with it at this time. So I hired him. And the most efficient way to run a studio is, and I know we're dealing with rappers, so it's the timing.
Yeah.
I need everybody on time. And he was kind of like a pothead. He was real like, I could never get him on time. And he'd call me. I have another buddy that's the same way. He's not a pothead. He just plays with Tom the same way. And he'll be like, oh, bro, I'm about to leave the house. And like, I'm about to leave the house doesn't mean he's about to leave the house. Or there was or one of my best friend, Tony, he used to tell me, oh, I'm over here by the New Way, like by this gas station back when I lived here. He would be at the house still.
I feel that though. I feel that in my spirits because
I'm the type, if you tell me you're showing up at a certain time, like I'll start looking out the window. Like if you're coming to the house, you say, yeah, I'll be there about 7. Yeah. At 7, I'm like peeking through the blinders. I'm
to
like,
make sure what's going on.
Are they coming?
Yeah.
Not coming?
I'm coming. I may get there at 7:55, 7:56, but I am coming back early. Nah, I'm not going to even lie to you and tell me to be there early. Now, will I try to be there early? Yeah, I will. But I'm telling you, I can be like shower, clothes, and then something catches my eye on the TV and I hear something, I turn and I'm looking for like 10, 15 minutes. I'm like, I got time. Yes. Yeah. And so then it ruins everything. So yeah, I definitely play with time a lot.
How has it been interviewing people?
It's been a little difficult for me, honestly, because again, I like standing in the background. You know, I'm not a person that likes to be out in front in center of anything. I like being in the shadows. If I'm being honest, I've always been that way. I don't take compliments well. I don't like being out, but it's definitely a little different for me. But I feel like I'm getting the hang of it. I still stumble over words. I still make mistakes, different things like that. But it's better. I think, honestly, it's good for me because I'm getting used to it and I'm getting used to being out front and center, which is a good thing for me because I'm kind of coming out of my shell all at the same time.
It's like a challenge.
It is.
If you challenge, that's the only way to grow. So you're pushing yourself. What my struggle is keeping people talking, I think, but I must have gotten a lot better at it because I haven't dealt with this very much lately. But in the beginning, I would be like, so what do you think about this or that? And somebody would be like, it's cool.
Yeah.
And you're like, panic.
Yeah, for
Another
sure.
I'm burning through my questions.
I know. I'm telling you, I just let people talk. And then honestly, if they tell me before, it's like, hey, I'm super nervous. You ask my questions or ask me questions or whatever. I'm like, okay, just tell me your story. And if I, stop you because I have a question, we'll kind of go from there. And honestly, we haven't had a problem with it. I just kind of let them lead and I follow with the question or whatever. But honestly, like I said, it's really getting me out of my shell because people don't know me and I take pride in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's if you don't know me, you don't know my name, you don't know who I am, you know nothing about me, then I'm like, okay, I'm good because you don't know who I am.
But that's about to change though.
Yeah.
I can't talk for an hour a week.
I don't know.
And people are going to know you. Anybody can now go look. If somebody wanted to know about me, there is no shortage.
Yeah, right? For sure. You've done a lot of podcasts and honestly, by watching your podcast and watching the people that you bring on, I never knew it was that many people with podcasts here in Texarkana. Like you asked a question the other day, like, who should I bring to the show next? I'm like, is that many people in Texarkana with podcasts?
Well, no, I think those are people just doing
for
cool
questions.
Stuff.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of those are podcasters. I think that I counted the other day. I think there's like 20 of them.
Really?
Yeah.
I never knew that. I knew about yours
but
and
it's
a couple
booming
more.
Now. This is I think Anthony has a lot to do with that. Shout out to Anthony, Texarkana Podcast Studio.
Yes.
I think he's having a lot to do with it because we didn't have anything like that.
Yeah,
like you couldn't just be like, you couldn't go give somebody some money and like have a professional setup. It's nice.
Yes,
I miss him doing my episodes. I really do because I do everything myself now, and it's like
it's a lot.
I'm saving said money, but at the same time, like I'm giving up a whole bunch of time, but I'm also getting better at it.
Yeah,
like so it's all pros and cons and measuring and I like the freedom of this because I'm in control, right?
Yeah.
And so when I give up that control, I also give up the benefits that come with giving up the control.
I totally get it.
So Are you preparing, like when you have a guest on, you said earlier, you just kind of let them tell your story. Are you writing out questions or what are you doing as you prep for people?
No, I don't, honestly. So I will be honest with you. The last 2 episodes that I did have, one has not come out yet. But the one I did with AV, the cowboy.
Yeah,
I had you had him on here?
Yeah, he was my first episode.
Cool. I had questions for him because I was really unfamiliar with Black cowboys and different things like that. And
he's a badass. I love him.
What?
He's so cool.
Let me tell you about AV. No lie. Interviewing him and talking to AV, I told my daughter, she's part of a little not a motorcycle club, but she's part of a cowgirls club or whatever the case may be. I told her, sis, I'm about to hang up these shoes and give me some jeans and some boots, okay? And about to go to some rodeos.
Yeah.
Because I love what he does and I love watching him. And as I go back through all of his things, I just kind of look at that. But he was the first episode that I had questions on because I was so unfamiliar with that sport. But I didn't even get to the list of questions.
Good.
And so I just kind of bring things off the dome, or if there's something that hits me in my head or something I want to ask, I'll just kind of go from there. Now, I did have a lady on last week, and like I said, we hadn't had a podcast out. I did have some questions, but I didn't even get to answer or ask her questions from the thing. I hate doing that because I don't feel good bringing questions. I like asking questions.
Yeah. So like today, nothing.
Right.
It's like at this point, if I can't talk to somebody, then something's wrong with me.
This is true, And
you don't bring and this is what my theory behind it. You don't bring questions to a conversation. Like if me and you, like I guess you could, but like if we were going to get coffee or we were out somewhere, like neither one of us would probably bring a list of questions.
Never.
That's just not realistic.
No, never ever. So I hate even. I'm done with that. That was the 2 episodes that I brought questions to. And like I said, I never got to ask those questions, but I can't do this. My mind doesn't work that way. I have to ask questions when I feel the need to, or when there's something that really hits me that I can relate to. I'm like, well, girl, how did you do it this way? But no more questions for me. Never.
Yeah, that's how I am. This is like, I don't know, conversation is an art, right?
Yeah.
And you can get better at it. Like I'm trying to quit saying like, and I said like in that same sentence right there.
Yeah.
There's lots of things I'm working on and listening to better talkers than me talk has definitely helped. Or do you do, what kind of podcasts are you into? Do you listen to any podcasts?
I do. I listen to a lot of self-help podcasts. I listen to a lot of relationship podcasts. I listen to comedians, I listen to Kev on Stage. I love his podcast with all the things that he does. So I do listen to a lot of podcasts. But my podcast, I feel like is nothing like theirs. I mean, you watch them and you listen to them and it's like, dang, because they're just like, it's so smooth the way that they're doing it. But honestly, I have to remember, these people have been doing it for years,
right?
A lot longer than me. And then I have a word that I say a lot of that I've noticed whenever I'm editing something, like putting at the beginning of the end. You know what I mean? That is it.
Oh, yeah.
What? I said way too much.
I say like.
Yeah.
There's too much There's several things.
There's a lot. And so I catch that and I'm like, you have got to stop. But
it's how we talk.
It is.
In a way, I think that it doesn't bug people because that's how other people talk.
This is true.
I think it's almost authentic.
Yeah. So if I ever get my first comment about, hey, can you stop saying, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay. I'm going to take it to heart. Yeah, it's time to stop.
I don't know. I'm not trying to be like a motivational speaker, like professional speaker on a stage. No. It's like the key to this, I almost feel like, is the casualness.
Yeah.
That's why I don't do very much editing neither. Like I just kind of like,
sir, I can.
What happens happens.
You are absolutely right. And to be perfectly honest with you, dealing with Anthony, shout out to Anthony.
Oh yeah.
He doesn't edit my stuff. He just like sends it to me, and I'm like, I'll do a beginning, I'll do an end, I'll do a name, whatever, and then we're done. The only time I'll take something out, because honestly, I don't even know how. I had to look at how to take something out. someone said something that we couldn't say. And it was like, oh, okay. That was
That's pretty much the only cutting I've ever done.
That's it. Because I don't do well with that either. But I do not like edit videos.
That's another. I go back to it. You cannot edit what you say in real life.
No. And I'm like, oh, that was it.
I think part of the smoothness, part of this, like what you were describing as when you listen to like professional people do a podcast is that they've done so many, they get to a point where it is natural. Like this feels more real. And I think that's what we're all working towards. Like,
for sure. I think so too.
I just want it to be regular.
Yeah, me too. I just want to be me because honestly, you can pretend to be somebody that you're not. One person made a comment, and I know it was toward me. She was like, people get out here and they want to talk all proper. And I'm like, I'm country though. You know, I'm from DeKalb. There's no proper in my voice, but this is how I talk. This is the way I've always talked around you. I don't know what you want me to do, but it is what it is. No.
Okay, well, there you go.
No, but this is me. You know, this is how I talk. So I don't know, but it is what it is.
I stopped listening to people who don't have a podcast.
Listen, sir, I stopped listening to people who can't tell me things to my face. I'm just like, I'm done with that. Real. Go on about your business.
Hey, if you're enjoying this podcast and you're watching on YouTube, if you could take just a few seconds to go hit that subscribe button, it really does help. That'll help notify you when we drop new videos. And we need all the subscribers we can get so we can keep bringing you content every week. Now back to the show. On your show, how are you picking guests?
So honestly, the first few podcasts that I had, I was contacted. So I did one with my children, and then my second one was with my kids. And so my daughter works at Total Medical, and so a few people reached out to her and was like, hey, can we come to your podcast? And she was like, Mom, these people want to come to the podcast. And I'm like, okay, great, good. Let them come on because I don't know what I'm doing out here in these streets. And so we had, I think we had like 2 from her job and then a third one from her group. And then my niece came on to the show, and then AV, the cowboy, she knows him because of all their little horse riding ties. And so he brought his friends. And so it was just like people that she knew or people that saw the podcast that wanted to come on. And I'm like, come on, you got a story to tell. Let's go. Let's hear about it. So I don't know. I just, if you want to come, you know.
Right.
But Anthony told me that I need to do a better job at it, you know, kind of picking and different things. And I'm like, okay. And I will, but I'm like, come on, y'all, let's just go.
Yeah. Well, as long as you like, my theory is, as long as you like who you're talking to, or you're genuinely interested in who you're talking to, it's probably gonna work.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
But if you're just picking people like, because there's even been people have been suggested to me, but I don't know, I didn't get the right vibe. So I was like, no, I don't feel like talking to them. I don't know. I just want to talk to people I want to talk to. I know, that's kind of.
No. I totally get it because honestly, after we have a conversation or whatever, I'm like, okay, yeah, I like your energy. Come on there. But there's 1 or 2. I totally understand what you're saying. The vibe is just not what it is.
Oh, dude, you don't want to sit somewhere for 45 minutes with somebody.
No. I do not. And then I don't want to talk about what you want to talk about either. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do all that. But I totally get it. Yeah, it has to be that vibe. And I'm like, okay, I'm very interested in your story. So
with me, what happened is, and how I found so many people is because everybody I talked to, like, first of all, I started being kind of ambitious. Like, I don't know if these people will hit me back, but I was like, I don't care. Just hit them up. You know, not being afraid to get left on red or whatever.
Right.
You know, I leave people on red sometimes now that I'm so busy. So I try not to, you know. But one guest will lead you to the next guest. And that's kind of where you start getting in the sweet spot because it's like, then I started, this is something you might want to try. I don't know. I ask people at the end, I'm like, give me 3 suggestions.
Gotcha.
And so like if I've got, let's say the head baseball coach for Sticks, and now he's the head baseball coach for Texas A&M University. I asked him who he thought I should have next.
Yeah.
And he gave me a couple of names. So I asked that guy. I have one of those people and I asked that guy.
And then,
3 more. And then it's like, dude, when I started this, and even somebody asked me the other day, they're like, you're doing too many of these. Like my cousin, he don't know nothing about podcasts. He don't know nothing about how this works.
It's the family that'll get you.
And he was like, I think you're doing too many of them, dude. He's like, you're going to run out of people. And at first, I was genuinely concerned about running out of people doing stuff in Texarkana. This has opened my eyes.
Really? I'm like, dude, you know how many people are here?
Dude, 75 episodes in, I have like a 30 people long list in my phone of people that, and like every one of those people may give me 3 more.
Yeah, so it's never too much. Yeah, your cousin knows what he's talking about.
No.
But does he have a podcast?
No.
Okay.
That's why we don't listen.
We ain't worried about it.
We don't listen, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Pick the guests. This is, with podcasts, the guests are so important because it's like half the energy, right? It's like half of the show.
That's true.
Unless you have, and you know, there's tons of shows that don't have guests.
Yeah.
And see, I have that. I experienced that. I've really had it both ways, you know, because I've always, on my other show, it's always just been me and another host. And it's been like 3 different people there because it's hard to keep hosts too.
Yeah.
But then you having to build chemistry and then keep on being fresh every week.
Yeah.
One good thing about guests is that like I said, they bring half the show.
That's true. That is so true.
If you could, where do you see, so like if you do this for 5 more years, what type of guest would you want?
Let me be honest. If I did this for 5 more years, for sure Tabitha Brown. I think she's amazing. I would love to bring on, let me see. I would love to bring on Kev on Stage. I don't know if you guys ever, who what his podcast is about. Yeah. Esther Perel, another one of her podcasts. Those are my top 3. Yeah. I have to think about the rest, but yeah, for sure those.
Those are the people you look up to, huh?
I do. Yeah. I definitely like their things, what they bring to the table. I love the I'm not gonna say the struggle, but somewhat the struggle of how they went from A to Z and all the things that they've done in the between times, and then the end product of, hey, we struggled, but yet and still we made it. And so I'm just like, I'm loving that. Relationship things. I don't know. Those are my top 3 right there. Tabitha Brown, she kind of takes a whole thing of how you can marriage as well. So she has it all in hers. So yeah, I would love to have her on.
What are topics that you don't like talking about on your show?
Rapping.
Hey, preach. No, I like talking about rap. I like talking about the rappers. It's just not positive.
I totally get it. I don't listen to rap, so that's one of the things I definitely don't. Right. Let's see. Rapping.
But it might be interesting to have one on there to try to gauge like where they're at. Maybe you could get some answers.
This is so true. You're probably right. And have like my kids there too, because they would have to explain everything to me.
I had KJ Love, the KJ dude that wears the Deadpool outfit. I don't know if you've seen him in town. It's a guy in an outfit, dude. He did a video, went viral. He was in a diaper.
Really?
He just does crazy stuff. His name's KJ. You'll see him around town. He'll like go in the mall and like jump on tables and stuff. And
it's like YouTube?
Well, yeah, I think he's from here, so I see it on like Facebook and YouTube and stuff. Really? So I had him on a show and I was just like genuinely curious. I was like, why are you jumping on tables in a Deadpool costume?
What did he say?
And he made a lot of sense. He was like, it was almost like the deal they talk about. Like, I don't know if you know who Mr. Beast is. Basically, he's like the king of YouTube, basically.
Gotcha.
But if you ask him about like how you get people to view you, right? It's called the purple cow. And if you're driving down the road, you see a cow, right? A regular cow. You just keep driving.
Yeah.
If you're driving, you see a purple cow.
Yeah, you stop and
you stop. And he didn't say that, but this is me breaking it down. Basically, that's why he's jumping on tables and stuff. He's just trying to get to his purple cow moment, I think.
I totally understand that. And it makes perfect sense. Yeah, because I'm going to see somebody doing that.
He's like, I'm not like this. That's what he told me. He's like, I'm not like this, But this is something I'm building and it's like a character and...
Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's very much so.
But you say you don't want rappers. What else? Do you ever touch on like politics? I try to stay away from that.
Politics, honestly, religion, no. I talk about faith, God a little bit, but I do not. Politics, absolutely not. I will not argue with people over politics. People assume they know what you do, how you do it because of the color of your skin. They do not. And I'm just like, I'm not dealing with all that. I don't have time for that. I don't have time to be arguing about religion. There's way too many out here. It's because you think yours right, mine's wrong. No, we're not doing that. So those are two topics I will not engage in.
Which is smart. I was interviewing a ton of people during the election. So like it kept getting brought up. I don't know. Maybe it helped. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. This was the first time I like tried to get informed, like really tried to get informed. And I'm like, oh, this is trash. That's really what I took away from it. I'm like, dude, this is awful.
No.
It's like, it's a terrible, like, I don't know. It's just, it can't be good for your mind.
No, it can be. And honestly, it can be good for your mind. It can't be good at all. Just leave that stuff at the house. Whatever you decide you want to do, it is whatever. People get bold out here in these streets. And I want to talk crazy to people and you just really can't do that. And so sometimes we have to like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and ignore you today, keep it moving, whatever. Because honestly, if not me, somebody else that could take it really seriously and just really take what you're saying to heart, and it could be a whole dangerous situation. I do not. I just don't engage.
Too polarizing, huh?
Ain't nobody got time.
This last time around, it seemed like there was like the stances were so opposed that like, and I'm not to like get into it, but I'm just saying like the psychology behind it seemed like it was like sides, like bad. And I just think it's stupid when people are like, if you need a reason to delete me, I'm voting for so. Like,
well, first of all,
that's so goofy to me. What do you think of that?
I know. I don't even engage. I just move around and I'm like, okay, next, move on. I cannot, because honestly, I feel like it's clickbait. Yeah. And they want to start an argument.
Yeah, they do want to.
And I'm like, I'm just not. Why? Why are we out here with this thumb war? Nobody's going to anybody's house, and nobody's going to be talking to anybody face to face. Just leave those thumbs alone. You know what I mean? It just be finished with it.
I like that. Leave the thumbs alone.
Leave the thumbs alone, and just keep it moving. Let everybody be happy with doing what they're going to do. It makes no sense. Just
I don't want to get rid of nobody neither. I learned that the other like, especially when people say something that I'm just like, oh, dang, I don't really agree with that.
Yeah.
My first instinct was to like get rid of them. But now I'm like, why do they think like that?
Yeah.
So I almost just kind of leave them around. So I like have to think like that every once in a while.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Because the internet does turn into like an echo chamber, like quick.
It does. It really does.
If you get rid of everybody that disagrees with you, then nobody's challenging you.
This is so true.
That can't be good.
No, it can't be. I don't know. You'll never know if I agree or disagree. I'm just like, oh, I'm not talking about that.
That's really smart.
I will not, because when I tell you that people, when I went to vote, right? When I went to go vote, I was told that I couldn't vote because they sent me something to my old address and I didn't get it. So I was suspended. But what you didn't tell me was that all I needed was a piece of paper so that I can do what I needed to do. You just assumed that, I was going to vote a certain way. And you didn't want to tell me what I could do in order to vote. I'm thinking that's pretty jacked up, but because I read what I could do, I already knew what I could do. And I'm just like, don't do that. Y'all out here in these streets just assuming everybody just want to vote. Don't do that. Don't do that. Just let me do what I need to do. You're going to do what you need to do, and we're going to be okay. We're going to live to see another day. It doesn't matter.
It seems like it keeps going, huh?
It does.
No matter what happens, it just keeps on going. Like until they mess up. But
they don't care. I'm telling you. It's one of those fights that will never end.
Yeah. Only thing I get worried about is, well, not the only thing, but I don't like that, and this is not even political, I'm just saying, I don't like that there is like nukes. That is crazy to me. That is wild. That's 2024. And like blowing this thing up is an option. That's crazy to me.
No, we're not doing all that. I cannot.
I like to think in my head that nobody would ever do it.
I will hope not.
You ever heard the story of I think it was like a Russian submarine that accidentally sent one at us on accident?
What? How you gonna accidentally send something?
I think I think we almost like blew the world up that day. Like this was during the Cold War or whatever. Like on accident.
There was no accident. Do you really think it was an accident?
I mean,
how can you just accidentally hit a horn? I mean, you can accidentally hit a horn, but how can you accidentally just send something? That part, there's a whole button that's designated for this one action that we accidentally hit.
Yeah.
Nah.
That's just how the story goes.
I totally get it. I totally get that part. But hey, who knows? We were not there.
Do you ever get into any conspiracies? I like
no, I saw that about you. No, I do not. I don't.
I'm not really out there. Here's the thing about me. A lot of this stuff is fun to think about and it is fun to talk about, right? Yeah. And my lane, I guess my angle, one of the angles I like to take is to just kind of get far out people sometimes to just tell me what they're thinking. Because it's fun. It's fun to think about that. And I don't ever think about presidential assassinations and stuff like that unless you get somebody in here that's like, I know who did it. This is how it happened. You're like, oh, interesting. Tell me.
My thing would be I was not there.
Right.
I do not know.
Yeah, you seem smarter than me.
Yeah, but I'm not getting into it. I wasn't there and I don't know.
You don't have not one conspiracy theory that just eats you up?
No, I do not. Because I'm like, I wasn't there and I don't know. And if I really cared about it, I think I would I don't know. I would probably be all into it.
Yeah, what would you do if you figured out something and it was something that, like, let's say we were lied to. And you figured it out.
Lied to about what? I think we're lied to anyway. But what are we talking about?
See, that's a conspiracy theory.
You come on. We are all being lied to.
Yeah.
So it just really depends on what it is. We already know. You know, they're gonna say
tomorrow
one thing.
You found out that aliens were real.
Okay.
How are you reacting?
I don't even think I would be surprised.
Yeah.
So serious. I mean, honestly, I don't think I would be surprised. I would be like, okay. Really? Because you never know what is going on around here. I don't know. I don't even think I would be surprised. I really wouldn't.
You're like, oh, well, off to work.
There you go. They ain't bothering me. Don't bother me. I won't bother you. And that will be it. Because if I find out tomorrow that they are here, then they must have been here. And
I don't know.
They're not messing with me. So I'm not gonna mess with you.
I don't believe a lot of stuff that I bring up. It's just fun to think about.
I totally understand that.
I don't know if that's wrong with me or what, but it is just fun to follow rabbit holes and things
I totally get it, but
I have actually followed some rabbit holes and like found some really bad stuff.
Really?
Maybe this is not bad. So sometimes ignorance is bliss, though. I would say that.
For sure.
Because one day I was like, I want to know how I guess it wasn't one day, but like over time, I was like, how does like the government actually work? Like how does it work? Like who's pulling the strings? Who really does what? And that's not one to go down. At the end of the day, you'll be like, this sucks.
I think you know what? All I know is what we've been told. One person can have an idea, but it takes multiple people to make it happen. Is that right?
Yeah. What I came up with is that it's almost the corporations and stuff. So like it's like 5 of them. Yeah. And they pretty much make all the decisions because they're the ones with all the money putting into it.
Of course. Anybody with money gonna make some decisions around here.
All our politicians get told what to do and they get paid. And it's like you do what the people paying you do, not what the people voting for you do. They want to get votes, so that's why we get politicians that be politicians how they are.
For sure.
You know, they're basically actors. Who was telling me? Somebody was talking to me about this, that like politicians are bad. I mean, they're basically actors.
Yeah.
Like
I totally agree.
You have to know like some policy, but at the same time, it's like, how well do you get up on stage and act?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I mean, you think about like past presidents and then the connections with money. So you just... Do we know?
And they all do bad stuff. All of them. That's what I've learned. If we go all the way back to like the last, let's say 5 presidents, right? And I've kind of deep dived into that recently. They've all
For real? Yes. Oh man.
All of them have their own little like, ooh, that's not good. Well, so-and-so, everybody talks highly of this dude. Ooh, that's not good.
Really?
The Bush, like, ooh, 9/11.
I guess I never thought about it like that. I have never thought about it like that. And honestly, I feel like maybe I'm the one at a disadvantage because this is how I think about it. I'm thinking, what's going to happen is going to happen.
Right.
And we just have to play the cards that we're dealt.
Right.
And that's just how I think about it.
I believe that and I see the logic to that. The only thing I see on the other side of that is that if we don't know anything, if let's say I was a corporation or the government or whatever, and we were like, okay, what is an easier crowd to control? Like an informed crowd or an uninformed crowd?
Right, for sure.
So not knowing may be like, they might just be sitting around licking their teeth like, yeah, this person is going to play the cards dealt to them.
For sure. But how do you even know what is true and what's false?
Dude, that's another thing.
I know.
It's really complicated. It really is. It's super complicated. So I don't know if I'm right for like staying up late at night reading stuff, or you 100% could be way more right than me. You just not thinking about it.
You just never know. Yeah. Honestly, you never know because that's a whole discussion and going down 2 or 3 rabbit holes and back out again of a topic. So you just really never know what's going on in the government. Honestly, you don't.
I don't trust them. They say now that they're telling us they're aliens, I'm starting to think there might not be.
So somebody said it. Somebody said we had aliens.
Well, they keep talking. There's been at Congress, a guy that was high up in the military that was in charge of what they call UAP, which is what they call UFOs now. It's unidentified. It's a new acronym, but it means UFOs basically.
I got you.
And he came up in front of Congress and was like, "No, we found crafts in the ocean, and like there's all these pilots that say they see stuff up there while they're flying, things that they don't necessarily understand, things that seem to defy like what we know so far,
for sure."
And so stuff like that is coming out now. Concrete evidence, we have like an alien body or nothing like that. They haven't released.
Man, like you know what? I feel like they've been watching NCIS just like me. There was one episode on there where they thought it was some aliens or whatever the case may be. Get off NCIS, okay? I don't know. I have no idea, but
I just think like, so have you thought like how big the universe is, right? Do you think? I'm sorry if I'm getting like crazy. This is just what I do. This is normally how I do every back end of every podcast.
I got you. No, you're fine.
I just start doing I just fall back on this stuff. But do you think that's just us here out of all that stuff?
I don't. I don't think it's just us here. If we're just being honest with you, and the reason why I say that because we say we're not going to talk about religion, but biblically. If we read our scriptures, we know that there's like different things, beasts in the sea, different things like that. So I really don't think so. I think that there's other things that we've never seen, never encountered.
Right.
But as far as like aliens, I don't know about all that. But I know that, I don't know. I don't know if
so you think there's stuff here on Earth that we don't know about?
If we read our Bible, I think so.
Yeah. I think so. Like we know, they say we know more about space than the ocean, which is crazy.
This is true.
But from my understanding, it's like the pressure. You know?
For sure. You would never go down deep that far. So I just feel like if we read our Bible, and I feel like sometimes there's things in there that we can read. Sometimes there's things in there that I read. I'm just like, what? Because
I had a guy come in here the other day, and he was telling me about giants and stuff, and like stuff that's in the Bible. I was like, wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in the Bible people just really don't read, but. When I read it, I'll be like, I don't want to read this. And I kind of close and read something else. Huh? Yeah. You hear me? The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. So we go back to something that we know. But if we read our Bible, honestly, you definitely know that when he created things, it's, like fowl in the air, beasts in the sea. It's just different things that he created when he created the earth. So you just never know what's out there. We don't because we've never been that far. And I've never been in space, or I've never been deep in the ocean, so I don't know what's going on out there.
If you could go to space tomorrow, would you do it?
Absolutely not.
You would not go to space?
No.
Even if it was it was a super trusted. You knew you was gonna make it, and you knew you would make it back. What's wrong with space? What?
First of all, he didn't put me in space. He put me on Earth. I'm gonna stay right here.
I love it. Yeah.
I'm gonna stay right here until he tells me, "Hey, girl, I'm gonna need you to go up in space," and then I'm gonna ride on. But no.
I think I would go to space.
Would you really?
I would love that.
I don't need that. I don't need to.
I would definitely be scared. I think with the future of like technology and stuff, I think in our time, I think they'll be taking people to space.
I'm sure that they will, but they won't be taking this girl.
We might not be able to afford it.
No, I'm pretty sure we will not. But I don't want to go. That is so not a desire of mine to go to space. A lot of people go. I don't want to.
Yeah.
There's nothing up there that I feel like I want. I see the stars, the moon, and the sky. I'm good with that.
You think it would be cool to see like Earth though from up there?
No, not at all. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
And it could be because I'm scared, but nope. I just don't want to.
Yeah, I love it. There's people that think we didn't go to the moon.
Yeah,
that's a genuine conspiracy.
That's true. And people have been to the moon how many times? I mean, no, they want to go to the moon. We have not been. We've been to the moon.
We've been, yeah. We had three astronauts on the moon, I believe.
Yeah.
But we haven't been back since the 60s.
There's no point.
Yeah.
We ain't missed nothing up there. I don't think they left a shoe, a sock, or anything on the moon.
I think
So
we left the flag, I think.
hey, let it stay. But no,
I'll go back
I don't.
up there and get the flag.
Do you want to really go? Seriously?
I would go.
Mm-mm.
I'm not smart enough. I think in one of those type missions, as of now, like obviously you got to be one of the smart folks to go on that one because you got to have a job up there.
Sir, I don't even if we were, I don't think that's something I want to do.
You ever think about the people on the space station?
I do.
They just...
Yeah, but
I think it's like 20,000 miles an hour they say that they are going around the Earth.
Really? No, I don't want to do all that. I feel like, number one, let's just be real. If they're in things like we see on TV, I will be bored. I don't care how much of the Earth I see, a star that goes by, I will be so bored.
In space?
Yes. I will be bored in space. You looking at the same thing all day long.
Maybe so. I wonder how... That is a good point. I wonder how bored the people on the space station are.
You have got to be
up
bored.
there for a little bit.
You do. I know. I feel like I'll be bored in space.
How do they get on and off of this thing if it's going 20,000 miles an hour?
I don't... Sir, listen here. All I know is I've seen way too many TV shows for me to even want to go.
Would you go on a submarine?
No. Absolutely not. I can't even swim, so why would I get on the sub?
This is turning to me asking you, like, would you rather?
No. Would I rather? Absolutely not. I would not. I
love it.
No submarines for me.
I am a little claustrophobic. So maybe the space and maybe the submarine. Do you like flying?
Have you
flown before?
I have. I've flown before. I definitely like flying. But yeah, I'm still on Earth.
That's as high as you get, huh?
I'm good. Fly me there, fly me back. I'm fine. Don't fly me to the moon. I'm good.
Did you see those guys that went in that submarine in the ocean to see the Titanic? That was crazy.
I did not.
You didn't hear about that?
You know what? I'm gonna tell you the truth about me. My TV at home, it does not play the news at all. So if I'm being honest with you, if I'm catching up on something, it's either my husband has told me or I'm listening to it at work. I do not watch news at home. I don't.
What do you watch?
My TV just stays on. It's just like those channels that go like Pluto, different things like that, because it just plays. It's just noise. I don't even look at it. I don't. I have to have it to sleep or whatever the case may be, but I don't watch news.
Yeah.
I do not.
We're not missing much.
Like I started, like my husband was like, hey, look at this. And I was like, we in the, that's when I knew that we were like in the election or hitting the election. And I was like, oh, shoot. I did not. No joke. No joke. I do not watch the news.
You are probably not missing anything.
I'm sure I'm not because it's so depressing. I'm just like, I
think stuff like this is taking over the news. And that's what a lot of people say.
I believe that. I would rather watch a podcast, listen to whatever and anything else, but I cannot.
I think they're too doctored up. I don't think we can trust what they're saying.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of, like I said, I think there's a lot of like corporations and stuff that have a lot of money put into them.
Yeah.
They can't talk about a corporation that keeps them on air. Things like that. It's like, I'd rather just listen to two people talk about it.
Me too. And honestly, if the news is on, my husband's watching it, I'm not even listening to it. I'm gone.
So you didn't hear about the submarine?
No.
I feel like I have to tell you about the submarine.
I did not hear about the submarine.
I think they were billionaires.
I'm pretty sure.
5 of them. They built this submersible.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't that big. From my understanding, I think it was like as big as this room, maybe long.
Mm-hmm.
And you couldn't even stand up in it. They were all there. They were all like hunched down in it.
Yeah.
The goal was to take this submersible that they built and go all the way down and look at the Titanic. Now, without me telling you what happens in this story, we'll just play a fun game called, Do You Think This Is a Good Idea?
No. I can already tell. No,
it is not a good idea. So get this. They had rigged this thing up. Everybody was telling them it's not safe. It's not
what you
safe.
mean rigged? Like just threw it together?
Yeah. It wasn't. Okay. They said it needed to be like titanium, whole and all this stuff because of the pressure. The Titanic, I believe, is like 12,000 feet in the ocean. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, we can only go like a couple hundred feet and it would like crush us. Yeah.
Yes.
So get this. They were controlling it with like an Xbox controller, like a PlayStation 2 controller.
That was not smart.
So yeah, so there's these guys
inside of the.
Yes, they're driving it with this deal.
Okay.
They go down. It was this big deal. People were I can't remember if people were already watching it or I guess I imagine most people found out after something went wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, radio silence, after they started going down, they went down a good ways, everything, radio silence. Then it was just this mystery for like a week. So then it just ran on a loop, like what's going on, what's going on, what's going on. And eventually, a week later, they found out that it had just imploded.
Wait a minute, hold on. So you're telling me that these people went down in this little bitty thing that they told them not to go down in material that they shouldn't have even been in with the Xbox controller.
Yes.
And the people saw them go down.
Yes.
But they were missing for a week.
Yes.
And nobody went down to find them.
Well, that's the thing. It's hard to get down there.
No, sir.
It's hard to get down there with even the good stuff. 12,000 feet.
Mm-mm.
So like that's the Titan submersible imploded June 2023 while descending to the Titanic wreck site, killing off 5 passengers. Was operated by OceanGate. The submersible imploded at a depth of 3,800 meters, that's still pretty low. But I mean that's getting down there. The cause of implosion, but the violent nature of the implosion may make it difficult to determine the exact cause. The debris recovery, the Coast Guard recovered debris and presumed human remains at the site.
Mm-mm.
Coast Guard released DC footage of the wreckage, which shows the tail end of the cone. This is all that's left.
Okay. I have so many questions.
Well,
so many questions. First of all, when the glass or whatever you were in started cracking, why did you not back it back up?
Oh no, this is not one of them type situations. This is like, have you ever saw something implode, like a cylinder implode from pressure? It happens to like 18-wheelers and stuff sometimes.
Okay.
It's like a can.
Okay.
It's like when a can gets too hot.
Right. It just blows up.
So like, yeah, this would have been instant. They were instantly killed. Which is sad. Very sad, but stupid. Like,
yeah.
So they were going down, beep, 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 beep. Everything was cool. They probably never knew anything was wrong. Besides that their communication was messed up because they weren't being able to, because I think communication messed up before it. So I think they may have had a chance to come back up. So you might be right there. But they never knew that it was finna crack. From my understanding, from what scientists say, it would have just like 1 minute you're chilling, next minute, phew, it would have been so instant that like,
no,
it's a wrap.
First off, I'm going to heed all types of warnings.
Yes.
If they tell me that this is not the material that I need to be working with, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. And a controller.
So, no.
And
I think we have too much money.
Yeah, these are like
we're not thinking.
And one of the billionaires, like convinced his son to go. He didn't want to go.
He took his baby with him.
Yes. And that's
That is.
It's terrible.
We don't think about anything but ourselves. We don't even think about our kid, and not even listening to people and saying that, hey, this is not what you need to be doing this in. They told him this, correct?
Yes, there was doubts before, 100%.
Absolutely not.
And that company, that OceanGate, is OceanGate still functioning? I don't think I asked that right, but no, OceanGate is done.
So after this incident, they closed that?
Yes, OceanGate currently has no full-time employees. They're under federal investigation, scrutiny, all that.
But these are the people that warned them?
No, that is the company that they did this under.
Oh, no.
Because it was like 4 billionaires and then the boat, then the designer, I believe. And I may be wrong, but
that's just, no. See, people like me and you, honestly, we're not billionaires. So we're going to take heed to warning. I'm like, well, hey, let's go back to the lab. Let's just start this over again.
Is it like an excitement thing? Is it like a thrill thing? Like if you have so much money and so much like influence, because we hear about like people with tons of money and power, like going off the rails and doing crazy stuff, right? Is it like a more, like I need more?
It has to be because there are so many things that as a billionaire you have. What can you buy a billionaire? Nothing. Absolutely nothing, because they have everything in the world. So I feel like it's one of these things where people get bored and they have to have more. And it's like, no, it's to the point of stupidity. Like you can't do that.
Yeah, that's pretty dumb. Billionaires do dumb stuff though. It's crazy because they got to be smart. You're not a billionaire by accident.
This is so true. But you're smart with money, but not with common sense sometimes.
Yeah, maybe so.
You just can't do stuff like that. Especially if somebody's telling you no, and then you convincing your baby to go on something that someone says you shouldn't be in. You can't be too smart.
Have you heard of, while we're speaking of billionaires messing up, have you heard of, are you tapped into any of the Diddy stuff?
Lord, let me tell you something.
No, you're not.
So, the first time I heard about Diddy in Bishop T.D. Jakes, I was done. I have not seen, nor have I heard anything else. Because I was like, what? Could not believe what I was hearing. I just turned it off. I ignore all things because I'm like, I don't even want to see it. I don't want to hear it. I don't know what's going on with these people.
Yeah.
People are just another thing. Bored. Out here doing all type of stupid things. You could be doing so many things with your money and your time, but you out here doing all this foolishness, and then people with these little skits and memes with baby oil. Come on now. Give me some of that cash. I mean, just get the money away if you got to do stuff like that. I just think
said they found 1,000 bottles of baby oil in his house.
Listen here, Johnson & Johnson. I don't know. I just feel like this is the craziest thing. I did not. I feel like either my husband watches the news. My husband is older than me, and he has that old man mentality. He loves watching the news, and so he was telling me about it. I'm like, what?
I can give you the breakdown if you want.
Oh my God! Do not. Do not. I don't want to.
He's not the first one to do this scheme. There's other rich people who have done this thing. I don't know if you've heard of Epstein.
Yes.
Is
he still in jail?
No, he killed himself in jail.
Whoa.
Hold on. Look at the camera.
Okay.
He killed himself in jail.
Okay, so I feel like I got Epstein mixed up with the director that was doing the sexual harassment with the actresses. So there was another guy.
I think that's something else. But
So
Epstein is a guy.
I remember him.
That did
gray, salt and pepper hair. Yeah. I remember him now.
Basically political blackmail. Or like, not even necessarily political, because I think it's just like celebrity, political, all that blackmail. And I think that is what Diddy was involved into as well. As far as, Epstein had an island.
Yeah.
Diddy used to throw these parties. The houses are like rigged. You told me you didn't want to know about it. But
No. That's fine.
If you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
The houses are rigged up with cameras.
Yeah.
They trick you. They get you, drunk, get you this, that. They trick you into basically like sleeping with minors.
Yeah.
And they get it on camera. And so like it's sexual blackmail. And so like you take all these powerful people, you invite them to your house, you invite them to your island, you party. You do all this weird stuff, and everything maybe seemed cool at first, and then like they maybe compromise you, and then now they have you. So now it's like, and the thing about Epstein is that he had such a big reach on it, is that they won't release the list.
Do you think they would after he killed himself?
They definitely got him. But yeah, I mean, you have all these powerful people, and now everybody's sitting around like, who was on the list? Like, you never know. And so like a lot of people think that a lot of these musicians and stuff
were on the list.
Were on Diddy's deal, because that's what, have you ever heard like the Diddy parties?
Yes.
The whiteout parties?
Oh, I hear about the whiteout parties. Tell me about that.
That's like a Diddy party. Have everybody wear white. It's this big thing to come. I saw his house in Miami. We take this boat tour in Miami where you go see all like the stars' house and stuff. And he doesn't like the paparazzi, so he grew, which now this makes more sense. He grew his trees up. So like if you look in Diddy's yard, it's nothing but overgrown trees.
So they can't see.
Yeah. Which it makes more sense now. Which I saw Diddy's house and didn't know he was a freak like that. So.
Who did?
Well, apparently that's the thing. A lot of people have been saying things like this. Cat Williams came out at the beginning of last year and was saying, Diddy wants to party with you. You got to tell him no.
Listen. Now, I did see Cat Williams because he was on Club Shay Shay.
Yeah, that like
and
the internet.
What? And so when I was watching that podcast, and I'm like, we were just sitting there, mouth dropped, eyes like bucked. I'm like, what is going on? He was telling all the things.
Yeah. And I talked, like Derek Keener, the comedian, he goes on the road with some of the people that like Phase on Love, like that big worm from Friday and stuff like that. I talked to him on the phone the other day. That was cool.
Really?
Yeah, Derek's cool. Derek will call like famous people and let me talk to him.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
But anyways, Cat Williams had a whole thing on Phase on Love. So it's like, Derek was from the other side. He's like, no, Cat was lying about some of that stuff. But then some of it he wasn't. But he did say Diddy wants to party with him. You got to tell him no.
Yeah, well, he was crazy for sure. Crazy. But that day he was talking on Club Shay Shay.
Yeah.
It was like, are you joking or are you not joking?
That's the thing. It's so hard to tell with him.
It is.
I think a lot of it was true. I think he made up like
some
a good
of
portion
it.
of
Yeah,
it too.
for sure. I totally
But he
agree
did what he
you.
needed to do. I mean, he blew the internet up.
He sure did. And all the things started coming for it. I'm like, geez.
I figured we did a whole episode on it because we had our comedy show when that happened.
Yeah.
And so we went and did a live episode on Facebook that night.
You and Derek?
Well, no, this was before Derek. So this was just me and my buddies.
Gotcha.
And we were, because Derek probably would have had a whole different view on it because he was talking about people he actually knows.
Yeah.
But, which, I don't know.
You never know.
But so Derek is always telling me that Hollywood is super weird, right? And I think I knew this. But he went into depth. He told me that he could have been famous already, but he told people no.
Derek Keener?
Yeah.
He's a freaking comedian, for sure. I believe that. I've seen him on, I think Donna Kelly had a podcast, and I know that Derek Keener had been on there a couple times. Yeah. He's hilarious.
Oh yeah. And I want to get him on here too.
Who? Donna Kelly?
Yeah.
He would be good.
Yeah.
And then I saw him on here, and I'm like, this dude is hilarious.
Oh, dude,
so he has to be. And then he was on. Was Derek Keener on? I feel like I saw Derek Keener on this comedian. He's old school comedian. I can't think of his name. He was on some of Martin Lawrence's shows or whatever. But they had this little. It wasn't a podcast, but more so a virtual visit, and they were kind of telling jokes. And I feel like Derek Keener was on there. This lady was talking about. Her husband left her something for a lady that was mentally challenged or something like that. And I feel like he was on that episode and that was so funny. Yeah, it was just hilarious. But I feel like it was Derek on there. Yeah. I feel like it was his face.
He writes for DC Young Fly. He writes for Phase on Love, Earthquake. Mm-hmm. He writes for Earthquake. He writes for this real funny Asian comedian that's super big, Jimmy O Yang. And so
him.
Yeah, Derek's the truth. He just said that Hollywood. He said that to make it, you can take shortcuts to make it, but they're almost always compromising.
Yeah, I believe that. I really do. So I kind of believe that because honestly, if you want to be famous in Hollywood, there's a lot of sticky situations, and sometimes you just don't want to. You don't want to play with that because you just really never know what's going to happen with that. I totally agree with. I totally believe that. I really do. But hey,
I think it's. I don't know. It's bad out there.
Yeah, I think so too. I think
Diddy wants to party and you got to tell him no.
You got to tell him no. You got to tell Hollywood no because I'm telling you, Hollywood will bury you. I really feel like it would. And being, a comedian or an actress or whatever the case may be, you hear all these stories about different things, and it's just is this true? Is this not true? And you can definitely see that it is. It could be true. Yeah. And then you get out here and you get sucked up into this world of things, and then they spit you out, and then next thing you know, you're on drugs, you're dead, or you're living on the street or something like that. I'm like, ain't nobody got time for that. I work Monday through Friday. You hear me? Give me my Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and I'm gonna be okay because I know I got money coming in. Ain't nobody gonna chew me up and spit me out, and I'm living on the street. Just I got time for that.
Yeah. Did you ever hear about the Nickelodeon documentary that came out? Do you remember when that came out?
Lord, no.
About the child stars? Oh, no, don't watch that. It'll ruin your day.
No, please. I don't want to know.
It's bad. So Nickelodeon I think it was had to be the end of the 90s into the era of when I would have been watching Nickelodeon. Yeah. I was born in 94. Mm-hmm. So I watched Nickelodeon in the very tail end of the 90s. I remember the first All That and all that stuff like that.
I got you.
Apparently, that's when it started, but there was some sexual misconduct
with the kids.
Yes.
Sheesh.
And so a lot of these stars are coming out now, child stars. Child stars that's rough. There's been so many stories of child stars not turning out right.
Oh no.
So Drake and Josh was this huge show I watched when I was
were they the twins?
Well, that was Zach and Cody.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can tell I don't know.
Yeah, that was Disney, which I don't. I'm going to assume that Disney was probably the same, and that's sad. But anyways, Drake, this guy was just befriended him like an acting coach on the set, And then before long, he was like taking him to his house and things of this nature. And then that led to another. And then like he didn't feel like he could tell anybody. And he just finished the show.
Well, first
and then
of all,
never came out until he was an adult. And they were like, oh no, because he kind of went crazy for a little bit. And everybody was like, what's wrong with Drake? Like, this is crazy. And then they come out later and they're like, oh, this is how they were treated on set. That's like, that's
First of all, let me tell you this. So if my kid was an actor on this show, as a Black mom, you ain't going over nobody's house without me.
Right.
Ain't happening. That's just what we know. You're a kid and we're not doing that. And I got to know who you are before I send my kid over there. And as a mom, and I'm a mama bear, somebody gonna get hurt.
Yeah. Sure.
I just cannot
I
see.
destroy somebody over my kid.
That part. I
was holding my daughter the other day, and I don't know why this came out of me, but they were like, "Oh, she's so cute. You must love her." I was like, "Yeah, I'll destroy someone for it."
That part.
And I was like, "Damn, that came out kind of crazy." But
no, we meant that.
No,
we gonna stand 10 toes deep with that for sure. My daddy didn't play about us. I don't play about my kids. Right. I don't understand how parents will let their child just go to somebody's and anybody's house and like by themselves.
Yeah.
Especially with a grown person one-on-one. Absolutely not. I need to have all eyes going on what's going on up in here.
Mine are so young. I know these thoughts are coming. I haven't had to face them yet.
Yeah.
You know, my son, he only goes to like family members' house. My best friend, his whole world has 2 kids about the same age, and these kids grow up together. That's the only place he's allowed to stay.
I totally get it.
Because like my best friend would kill somebody over my kids.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the only place they're allowed to go. They go to family, which even it's been proven throughout time.
Family will get you too.
Family will get you too. But it's like, I haven't had to think about, you know, him going to stay at a friend's house or nothing, or none of this stuff yet because they're 4 and 2. But I am dreading that.
I totally get it.
It's like, God, there's so many variables. And then like, you don't know. And then like I said, my baby girl goes to daycare and it's just like, you almost drop them off and you just hope.
You do. You hope and you pray. And I'm telling you, I put the fear of Jesus in anybody's heart. I'm like you, and even with my grandkids, my kids are grown. 27, 26, or 25, and 23. But I have grandkids. And honestly, I'm going to tell you, if you heard this one, it's done. It is done.
Yeah.
And so I do not play about my kids or my grandkids at all. And sometimes, you know, when you drop them off at daycare, people have to know that. And they have to think that you're a little crazy.
Yeah.
Because
I will show up.
Sir, ma'ams. I will. But just don't do that. Let me know what's going on with my kids. But I don't I don't believe in all of that. I cannot, because people are so crazy nowadays. They just really don't care about you, your kids, or anything else. So you have to be very, very careful and
do you think
be
people
protective.
are crazier now, or do you think it is just because we see more?
I think people are crazier now. I really do. And the reason why I say this is because people are out here in these streets doing any and all things. Now, would they do things back in the day? Yes, they would. But you had like, I'm going to just reference this to my dad and my uncles. They didn't play. But they're older now. They're like late 60s, late 70s. People knew not to play with their kids, you know, because I'm going to put the fear. And then now you have a lot of kids that are being raised by single moms, and you have kids that are being raised by dads. But yet and still, we're a society that's in a rush. We like rush.
Definitely.
We don't pay attention to a lot of things, and we have to go to work. So we're dropping our kids off, and we're really not paying attention to the whole daycare setup. We don't know what's going on around here. And so we just kind of put our kids here, trusting somebody else without checking out the whole scene. And we're just like, okay, you take care of my kids, and we're gone. And we're so busy. And then we have these young moms that are out here with these babies, and there's babies themselves. And they're thinking about, I got to go make this money so I can go buy me an outfit so I can go to the club. And so we're not worried about anything.
Yeah.
And I just feel like we just need to stop, just pause, pay attention to what we got going on, because now people are out here just really doing whatever they want to, and nobody's saying anything. And we have these moms with these young babies that are young moms too, that are getting messed around too, and then their babies are too. I just feel like it's worse now than it was, because back then everybody was paying attention and it was a village. I've been living in the same place for the past 3 years. I don't really know my neighbors that well. I know her name, but I don't know anything else about her. But back in the day, that wasn't the case. We knew our neighbors. We knew everybody that stayed in our neighborhood.
Yeah,
our parents knew everyone.
Yeah, we were knocking on doors. Hey, can so-and-so play?
It was a whole village.
Yeah, for sure.
But now it's not. So you can live next to someone who's going to look at your child a different way. And you not know because we're not being friendly or we are not getting to know our neighbors. You know what I'm saying? So yes, I think it's worse now because we're not taking the time out to meet people. We just out here just like...
You're making me glad that I went and talked to my neighbor.
I'm telling you.
Me and my neighbor got real cool. I live on a farm. Yeah. So across the road is the only like real neighbor I got. And I got one a little bit further down the road. I live on like a dirt road that like my family made. So, but no, he's a plumber and I do like septic stuff. So like we've been borrowing tools and his kids come over and play every single day. And then I send my kids across the street. Like there's not much traffic on the road. So like our kids run back and forth across the street, which I like it. I think that that's kind of more of an old school thing. And I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm leaning more towards like, especially with my kids, I'm like, I see the effect of like this new stuff.
Yes.
It doesn't seem like it's all that good. So like if I can make my kids go take care of cows and then go across the street and play with the neighbors and stuff, I feel like that's more of a normal thing. Like I think a lot of parents are sticking tablets in their faces things like that. And like my son has one game he plays and he loves it. He loves it too much. In fact, if you let him have it too long, he'll turn to like a little gremlin and fight you over it.
Yeah, for sure.
And so we try to limit the screen time. I try to make him stay in the yard. I don't know. I'm trying to come at it with like an older school approach, but not like and I always say like, you know, I'm not like an old school as far as like, even with my marriage or my kids, but like I come home and everybody knows to get out the way and dinner better not be cold and I'm whooping ass. No, not that shit.
I totally get it. I got what you're saying.
Not that old.
New school, but with an old school touch. I got you. Yeah. I totally get it.
That's kind of how I'm approaching it. You know, I've been with my wife for, oh Lord, I'll get in trouble. 2012.
Okay, I got you.
We got married in 2016.
Okay.
So we've been together for a while.
You have been.
I don't know. We're doing it kind of old school. I just kind of want to keep it that way.
I totally get it because honestly, it's best to, especially when you're dealing with small and younger kids, because honestly, we feel like we can trust the daycare workers and sometimes you really can't. Sometimes we feel like we can trust, our next door neighbors and sometimes you really can't. You don't even know who your next door neighbor is. You know, I just feel like sometimes it's okay to be modern, but still have an old school approach about different things. Get to know who your people are. Get to know who your neighbors are because honestly, it takes a village and it still does. You just, when you need help, but you just can't like...
Yeah, my son went to church with them the other day and that was the first time that I let that type of situation happen.
Right.
But like I said, I sit over there and I talk with him after a while. If he's BSing me, he's doing it very well.
Yeah, I totally get it. But honestly, as a parent, you can pick up on that stuff, especially when it comes to your kids. You can pick up on red flags.
Yeah, this is just a regular old...
Yeah, so...
Just a regular old working dude.
So you should be good to go. With kids too, it just make sure you keep your eyes on them.
They're older too, so it's interesting watching my kids interact. I don't know, that's doing one of the funnest things. Like as a dad, I'm watching my kids like interact, especially my son, because he's understanding things now.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I'm telling you, these post-COVID babies out here.
Oh, yeah.
They are super smart. They are just, they're totally different than babies born pre-COVID. They are smart. My 4-year-old grandson, he just turned 4 on last Monday. When I tell you this little booger is smart, he is so smart. And he has a mouth on him too. Oh, yeah. And I'm just like, I can definitely, you little post-COVID baby, get over there and sit down. But he is so smart. And then his little brother, he's 1. They're smart. And they're a different type of kid, you know? And so
I never was around all that many kids, so I don't have nothing to gauge it off of. I'm thinking this might be normal, but my kids are very sneaky and very smart.
Yes, they learn so fast. Okay, so fast. Like they come home from like school, like Mateo's in school, and he was like, "What the?" And I'm like, and that's all he would say because this is what the kids would say. I'm like, "Listen, sir, watch your mouth." You know what, Gigi? But they say different things. They don't even know what the meaning of it is. They just pick something up because they are still sponges.
My son follows me around and tells me to stop cussing.
Yeah.
Watch 100 times a week. He said, "Watch your mouth, Daddy." And I said, if I would have, I tell him, he's only 4. Yeah. I said, if I would have said that to my dad at 4, 2, 3, 8, 9, I might not be here.
That part. But and those two front teeth may be loose, you know? You just never know. But
he's smart. I caught him sneaking the other night. He calls it sneaking.
No,
he came out of his room and I was just up watching TV. I shouldn't have even been up this time. It was like midnight. I'm just sitting in the living room watching TV, zombied out. And I thought I heard a noise. That's the thing. He got by me to the kitchen. And so he climbed up a chair and he climbed up the counter and he jumped over the sink and got up into a cabinet and got 3 pieces of bread out. Just bread. And then he did it all back. It came back around and I thought I'd heard something. So I kind of turned around and I caught the tail end of him. I'm like, hey, get back over here, boy. I knew it was him because she ain't that agile.
For real.
I said,
for real.
So he comes back over and his hands are behind his back. I'm like, what you got, son? Nothing, Daddy. I said, what are you doing? He said, sneaking. I said, oh, no.
That's cute.
He said he was just sneaking.
They're too smart. I'm telling you.
I just let him have it. I said, you know what? If you're hungry, eat. I ain't gonna stop you.
There's no
just go. I said, go to your room. Go.
Yeah,
go lay down,
let them eat the bread and go on. But these kids are smart, though. They're really smart.
You know, we couldn't even have guests when we had him. It sounds like your grandkid was the same way because it was that time period. So it was December or November of 20. Had to been 2020.
Yeah, it was 2020.
Yeah, because my son is December 22nd, 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, Mateo's December 2nd, 2020. Yeah.
So, like, let me tell you what my dad did. My dad pissed me off at the hospital, right? We could only have 2 guests.
What? We could only have 1. Just the father. Then we had to sub him out.
Yeah. It was kind of so was it Wally or St. Mark? We were at Wally.
No, we were in Tyler.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So maybe it was just different hospital. But still, my dad shows up the day of the birth. Well, it happened in the middle of the night. So the next day he shows up. We can only have 1 guest. He shows up. He didn't bring nothing. My dad's just an old school dude.
Yeah.
He shows up. He looked at my son and was like, that's cool. It was basically, he was like, he talks real low. He's got a real raspy voice. He's like, yeah, there's a boy. Yeah? All right. I'm going to get back to work. And left. And I was like, I didn't know what to say. So then he left and I was like, we didn't get no food. We didn't get no care package. We didn't get a break. He didn't hold the baby. He didn't do nothing. He looked at the baby, said, yep, that's a baby.
Yeah, and went back to work. But you know what, though? And I'm going to tell you, my dad is somewhat like that, too. That's just how they care.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it's just like, there's not a I love you or whatever the case may be. That's just, that right there was like, okay, son, you did good. I'm proud. That's my grandson. I'm proud. And then he's out of here. We don't understand them. But honestly, this is how they show their love. I'm telling you. Now, they're not going to bring you a leg, a thigh, or a wing or nothing. You know what I mean? But
her mom showed up with a care package, wanted to hold the baby.
Women are different. Women are so different. Yeah. Women are so different. My grandfather, when I had my son, my grandfather came to the hospital while I was in labor. I asked him not to leave. And as soon as he heard me, they was like, oh, it's a boy. He was gone. He was out of there.
He fulfilled his duties.
he was outside that door and he left. So it was just like, hey, you know, I love you. I'm here. I stayed. Now I'm gone. And that's exactly what he did. And so my dad's the same way. So is yours. But women are different. Guys just show up and they don't think about anything else. But that's just their way of like, did good. And they're out of there.
It is different. My, which is sad, I hate to bring the mood down, but my mom had passed away, right, when I was 17.
Yeah.
And that was sad. Like not having her there like when you have the kids, that's sad. Because then it's like, I know this is like super sad, sorry. But I was like trying to explain to my son, like he still doesn't get that, like he has this other grandma.
Yeah.
Which there's been lots of people that steps. Like he's got more people that are like grandma that he knows what to do with. So that's cool. But like trying to explain to him that like, I'd be like, I have a mom. And he's like, that's my mama over there. And like, we can't get past that.
No,
like,
and you won't because that's all he knows because kids associate with what they see.
Yeah.
So he doesn't see her. He doesn't know. So when he gets older, he'll definitely pick that up. Yeah. It's just crazy how the kids' minds work with what they can see opposed to what you're trying to tell them.
Yeah.
They're funny that way, I guess. But I'm telling you, those little kids, they're so smart. But I promise you, one day he'll get it. He will definitely.
They're gonna be too much for me. I know it one day.
They are. These post-COVID babies. They're something else. They're gonna be like 15 years old. They're gonna be like little mini Derek Keeners out here being comedians.
Yeah.
He's a grown man, and we have these little post-COVID babies out here telling jokes because they think they're funny, or they're out here doing so many things. But I'm telling you, they're smart.
Yeah. That was a wild time, wasn't it?
It was a horrible time.
I guess we could start landing the plane, but how did that affect you? Like, what happened during that time for you?
So during COVID, there was a lot of things going on with me. So first of all, I'm a nurse, and I was during that time I was working in one of our clinics in Longview. Me and another nurse named Kim, and so we were training staff, and so we spent 30 days down there. So we were in Longview, Texas, like Monday through Friday, right? And so we were there every single day, and then we would come home on Saturday, and then be back on Sunday. Well, anyway, I had never experienced depression in my life, right? You experience like sadness from a breakup or a fake breakup or getting your butt spanked or something like that. But the ideal of depression never entered my mind or brain until COVID happened. And we were in Longview at this time. And so I remember it like it was yesterday. I walked into this lady's room, and we were seeing, like, this is when it was so busy. You were seeing like over 100 patients a day.
Wow.
We were working 12-hour shifts Monday through Friday, every single day, because we were training, and not only training, we were working. But I walked into this lady's room, and I remember this, and she says, "Hey," I said, "Hi, ma'am. Regular spiel. My name is Kim. I'm one of your nurses on today." I said, "What's going on with you?" She said, "First of all, how are you?" And when she said that, I turned and I looked at her, and I just started crying.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, she's like, we never asked you guys. And I remember how I felt in the moment, because honestly, I'm just thinking about it now, and you kind of get emotional,
right?
Because I was so depressed at that moment. I was like burnout. I'm like, I want to quit being a nurse. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm sick of this. This is one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. And she asked me how my day was and how I was doing or feeling emotionally. And I broke down in that woman's room, and I said, "I am so sorry. This is so not professional. I never do this." And she was like, "No, it's okay. I understand, because I went through the same thing too." But it did me dirty for a while. And then I had to like regroup after that 30 days. I regrouped. I kind of was like, "Okay, girl, you got this. We're going to be okay." But it was okay after that. But burnout and just like going through depression, and then not being able to get out and work and doing all the things, and then being at home. It did me really dirty.
Yeah. So as a nurse, you never stopped working, huh?
No.
It was just like the Super Bowl of working too, huh?
Yeah, it was. And then at one point, we have a clinic in Blanchard. And so if you worked in Blanchard, you would have to be stopped trying to go to Marshall, Texas, which is like 45 minutes away. And if you were a nurse or a medical person, they would let you through. But other than that, you could not come to Texas. It was crazy.
That is so crazy.
And so we had to do all of the clinics in, because people were getting sick, and we were going around and doing all the things. We were filling shifts. It was crazy. Some days we worked every single day, and we were open on Saturday and Sunday during that time. And so it was like, for real, like 12-hour shifts every single week.
And it was mostly people getting COVID?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was. And we never got COVID, or we just never felt bad. I never felt bad.
Have you ever got it?
I did. I got it like when things were better. And it was during Christmas.
Wow.
My skin started burning. I felt weird. And I'm like, something's wrong with me. My doctor told me my potassium was off. And I'm like, draw my lab. And so my sister at the time, she's working in the lab. And so she was like, everything's fine. And I was like, she said, let me swab you for COVID. I'm like, girl, I don't have COVID. I'm fine. And so she swabbed me, and she was like, she started crying. She was like, you have COVID. And I was like, oh, I don't have COVID. I'm fine. Yeah. And so, but I had COVID. I felt horrible, but that was it. And then it kind of went away. But after that, it was fine.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on that? Do you think that we overreacted?
I don't think that, well, yes, I do. I really do, because at one point, I felt like COVID was another thing. It was like more so like flu in the beginning, because honestly, no one really knew what COVID was about. No one really knew what was going on. And then everybody was kind of bringing to the table what they thought it was, and then take this immunization and all of these things. And so everybody was like freaking out, because if I'm being honest, when it first hit, everything died. we were not busy at all. It was just crazy. And then less than a month after COVID even hit, things started just like rapidly going up. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, there was not enough staff. It was just crazy. But I really feel like people were scared because of the unknown.
Yes.
Do I think that we overreacted? I do. I think we scared people, honestly, for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
But I really feel like it's something that we could do, or it's like something with the flu. Anybody with underlying issues or whatever the case may be, people die of flu. People die of pneumonia. Yes,
So like older people and people with like
underlying issues. People with diabetes that was uncontrolled, a non-compliant patient. All of those things. I felt like we didn't explain well.
Yeah, but
and
like
we freaked everybody out.
Yeah, an 18-year-old gets COVID, right?
Yeah,
big deal. Like a regular, normal, most normal people, not like 18, even like a 30-year-old, a 40-year-old, or you know what I'm saying, 50-year-old. True. Unless, from my understanding, it seems like it just got people that were, in bad health kind of already, right?
It did.
And then, I don't know, it was just a wild time. And I think that maybe they may have used it on us like as a but that's just the conspiracy side of my brain, just to maybe see.
Like a little control situation or experimental type thing.
Definitely.
I totally understand that.
Because they put it out just recently that it came from a lab. Like if you'd have said that in 2020, if you'd have said it came from a lab, they would have called you everything.
Yeah, for sure.
But there were people that said, hey, this was probably a lab leak. It turned out it was a lab leak.
Yeah. So the thing about that was manufacturers had to be paid, because now not only do we have a flu shot, we have a COVID shot, we have the first shot, we have a booster shot. Now you need to have another booster shot. So it had all of these injections, but that's just me. I'm not, I don't work in the lab. I don't do any of that.
And like I say, we'll look at the camera. This is not medical information.
No. So, but that's just my thought. My thought. I just feel like we freaked a lot of people out.
I think so.
And a lot of people, there was quite a few people that died. For sure. But honestly, if you look at their health, there were all underlying issues as well.
Right.
So
I think things like shutting the world down, I think that probably did more harm than good.
Oh, yeah.
Putting people out of business that have been in business their whole life. Imagine a third generation mom and pop restaurant.
Oh, yeah.
That went out.
Think about all these people that got divorces.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's something that we were talking about the other day.
Yeah.
Like people being around their spouse for the first time.
You hear me?
I realized I don't like you. This is weird.
For sure. Yeah. We're not even friends, you know. I totally get it, but I think we freak people out.
Yeah, I think, man, and then calling certain people's jobs like not necessary, like not essential.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
I know,
like,
right?
That has to play with somebody's mind. Like, you can't tell somebody like what they do in life is not essential.
You think? Yeah, that's crazy, because we are here, people out here just busting their butts trying to make sure that everything and everybody's getting what they need. Everybody's job was essential. And even if you didn't think it was essential to them and their family.
Right.
They needed to eat.
It's essential for them to take care of their family.
Yes. Everybody had bills paid. Bills didn't stop because of COVID. You know what I mean? Because, what's crazy was a lot of colleges or a lot of basketball players got a free COVID year.
Lots of sports people.
Yes. I didn't get a free COVID light bill. No. I didn't get a free COVID gas bill. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, bills didn't stop. But then I don't have a job? No, absolutely not. So I just think we kind of freak people out. I really think that it was maybe that conspiracy theory going on over there. That's just my personal thing. But I just really feel like
I think
we blew it out of proportion.
Conspiracies is this is like maybe this was a thing to see how we would comply like in a situation like that.
Very poorly.
Yeah.
Very poorly, because they shut it down and people were still doing what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
Me being one. I'm like, what? I can't go to the WHO? Yes, I am.
Yes, I am. Yeah, 100%. I like that Texas opened early. And if I'm not mistaken, from what I've looked into it, it didn't really raise anything up.
No.
People not wearing masks. That doesn't really, surgeons don't wear masks to prevent viruses.
No.
Surgeons wear masks to not like spit in an open, I say customer, well, yeah, in a sense.
It is. In a patient, for patient, sure.
Yeah.
For sterile, yeah.
So like sterile is different than stopping an airborne virus.
What's so crazy to me was the fact that people were wearing masks, but you had your mask starting right here covering your lip.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah.
Do you think that there's no virus or no COVID thinking that's going to skip your nose and go straight to your lip? I'm like, I don't understand that. And then you're in your car by yourself alone.
That was the funny one.
With a mask on.
Every once in a while you'll catch them.
Yeah.
Today, Like maybe not today, but like in the past couple weeks, I've seen somebody driving with the mask on in the car.
They do.
Which another dark side of the mask is that before then you could not walk in a lot of these places with a covering your face.
That's true.
That's dangerous.
It is dangerous, for sure.
You can't walk in a bank with a mask on. That's crazy.
No. But then you could walk in without one. Yes, absolutely. No matter who you are.
Yeah.
Come in with a mask.
So one of comedians said it in a funny way. He said, if I smell your fart through this mask,
it's not helping me at all. You hear me? I totally agree.
Yeah.
Because if I can smell something through my mask, that means somebody's breath or you're breathing and all that is getting through these little vents in this mask. I totally agree with you on that.
One thing it did for me though is made me get a little bit better on hygiene. I think I may have devolved back into an ape a little bit since then. But during that time, I was very clean and I was really focusing. I was like, dang. Because you really started thinking about like people breathing on each other and things like that. You don't think about stuff like that.
You do not.
You don't think about that. It's just like...
You don't. And honestly, being a nurse and dealing with people who you're testing for COVID and then you're wearing the mask too, people like to breathe on you and you never really paid attention to that. I always paid attention. I'm like, hey, turn your head this way. Let me swab your nose, whatever the case may be. And then once this went on, you start noticing little things that you never noticed before. Like people love to breathe on you or people love to talk to you like right in your face where you can feel their breath. And I'm like, whoa, I never noticed that until COVID kind of hit. Yes, cover your face, please, or turn your head this way while I swab your nose. You never notice small things like that until that point. Like, did you clean your hands? Put some hand sanitizer or something. But you never noticed it. Never paid attention.
I bet the hand... The conspiracy side of my brain says the people that invested in like hand sanitizer, the actual shots themselves, stuff like that, there was a lot of money to be made in COVID. People invested in like DoorDash and things of that nature. Like, I think we realized that a lot, and we realized that a lot of stuff doesn't have to happen at the office too.
No, you're right about that. But I hated doing my job at home.
Yeah.
But you're right. So a lot of stuff didn't have to happen in office. People can go home and do that. But a lot of people, like when one of my classmates I saw on Facebook, she told me that she had been working from home for like the past 3 or 4 years. And now they have to go back in the office. And she was like, oh my gosh. She's
probably in her pajamas.
Yeah, she was like,
she was probably horrible. Cooking and doing all kind of stuff. There was these people that were putting, because let's say you take a laptop home for work. All they can really measure is the activity on your deal. Like, because you are connected to your job. There's some dude in IT, they can kind of sort of see that your computer's active or whatever. But they were putting this deal on their laptop that made the mouse move.
What?
Every once in a while and made it random.
What?
So basically just making a rhythm of the mouse moving.
That's trash.
And so you could be scrambling eggs.
Doing whatever.
Could be drinking beer at 11 a.m. in your pajamas and a wife beater. And
I'm going to tell you, one thing I definitely say, when people think that they have something figured out that is foolproof or not foolproof, but crook-proof is what I call it.
Yeah.
They just lost because somebody's going to figure out a way to get around what you thought no one can get around. There's always somebody out there smarter than somebody else that's going to figure it out how they can get around what you're trying to put out there. And when they do, it is over. As my grandson said, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
You see them guys rob that Loomis truck here in town?
I did not see that, but I heard that. My son was like, "Mom, that has got to be an inside job." I'm like, "Why do you say that?" I mean, seriously, he said because you never put one person by themselves, and I'm like, so the guy was by himself.
See, I thought the Loomis was supposed to have 2 people at all times, right? In them big trucks, there's only 2 people because
that's what
they're carrying the most precious cargo around.
That's what you see on TV.
Yeah.
So
they caught him changing out of ATM or something, or getting money out of ATM or putting it in.
How much money did they get away with?
I don't know. I'd have to look that up. I don't want to lie on camera, but
that's crazy.
It had to have been like, I don't know. That would be a scary job because if somebody gets desperate enough, they might just follow you around.
That's true. No, you know what? If I did work for that company, I would have to have a partner at all times.
Yeah.
Not one, but maybe even 2. I need somebody watching my back because if I'm out here taking money.
Yeah. Have you ever thought you were being followed before?
A what?
Have you ever thought you've been followed before?
Yes. I have. And super paranoid. And so I have to call people. Well, this was like way back in the day. But yeah, I thought so. But then my dad was like, always change your routes. Every day that you go home, always change your routes. I tell my daughter that too. She just doesn't really pay attention to her surroundings. But
I listen to a lot of these ex-CIA guys and stuff. I like listening to podcasts like that because they've got all these wild stories and stuff. And like this one guy, I think his name is John Kiriakou, who was talking about how he followed people like all the time.
What? Like a PI?
Well, yeah, but like for the CIA.
Okay.
So, I mean, it was his job, but he'd be like in other countries and stuff, like following diplomats and following like important people over there. And like he was like, I'm pretty sure they have no idea. Like, I've been following this dude for like 3 months now. He has no idea.
I believe that.
I just feel like I'm not important enough to be followed right now.
I know I'm not.
And that's peaceful to me.
Yes, I know that I am not. I know that I'm not. It's just crazy. I know I'm not important enough to be followed. So I don't have no money. I don't have anything. So don't ever follow me because you will never get anything. Nothing.
Oh man, it's been fun. Anything else you want to shout out? I don't think we said the name of your podcast, which is a shame.
Oh, so the name? No, we didn't. The name of my podcast is the Let's Talk Podcast. I try to put up an episode every Sunday around 3. I kind of play with the time. I already told you. So, but yeah, the Let's Talk Podcast. So you can find it. I think it's like the Let's Talk Podcast with Kim K, Chris, and Kim K, Chris, and Cam, I do believe. Need to shorten that up a little bit, but yeah, that's what it's called.
But I'll put that in the description, put a link in there.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. I appreciate you coming on. It's been fun.
Well, thank you for having me. I did. I had a great time. I really did. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, no problem. It always starts off at, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And then it always is like, did you hear about a submarine?
I know. Like, that's crazy. Yeah. Never.
That is how I operate. But no, I appreciate it. To the people watching, thank you so much. It's been fun.
It's been definitely been fun.
Tired.
Thank you.
What time is it? It is 10 o'clock.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to have you come on my podcast.
Oh, yeah. I would love to.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah. Whenever you're not busy.
Yeah, if Anthony will let me back in, I'm banned from there.
What?
No, I'm playing.
I was like, no. That don't even sound like Anthony.
No,
but yeah, for sure. I'm going to have you on. You just tell me when you're available because you got a lot going on.
No, I'll make time for it, though, because I like the podcasting thing. Like, this is my job. Like, this is my side job.
Gotcha.
So, like, going on other people's podcasts, it's like a side quest to my job.
Okay. Well, shoot. I'm going to have you on then.
I would love to.
Thank you.
Great. So, y'all, thank you so much for tapping in. Y'all be blessed. Like, share, subscribe, do all that cool stuff. You can find this podcast at Joe Teel Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. I'll post reels on all the social medias. I'll put all that in the description, so don't worry about that. And y'all have a blessed night. Once again, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, if you're enjoying this podcast and you're watching on YouTube, if you could take just a few seconds to go hit that subscribe button, it really does help. That'll help notify you when we drop new videos. And we need all the subscribers we can get so we can keep bringing you content every week.